Ahoy! If you're playing a wizard and have little experience with the new type of mission war, this might be your lucky day. Here are some tips and tricks for MC. Before we begin, you're going to need a few skills you might not have yet. It's the lenses of regular skill rank: fire, water, wind, ice and magic. They've got longer range than earth or lightning. You'll also need meteorite and glacial trap and your party buff skills, but you'd be a poor excuse for a wizard if you didn't have those already. An optional skill is acid trap, but I do recommend it if you have a free skill slot. I'll explain why later. So here's the first tip. Casting party skills gives you points. See, I've just used those two with longer cooltimes and I've already got 3.5 points before even leaving the base. It's best to use them as often as possible, and considering that a war lasts 30 minutes, you should be able to use them 5 times, which means an extra 17 points. Okay, now that I come to think of it, that's not so much, but still, every little bit counts. The second tip I've got for you is to keep an eye out for special war potions, or just use the ones you can buy in your guild's shop. They can make a huge difference in the end, and they aren't that hard to get. Guild potions can be bought using your AP, of which you'll have more than enough as you level up. These two may have been pretty straightforward, but here's the third that I've literally seen no wizard ever use apart from me. Did you know you can hit the Guardian through the gate at some of the bases? The southern base, for example. I'm using BM3 and as you can see, all 3 fatal attacks damage both the gate and the Guardian. You just have to stand at the right spot. Or if your BM3 is cooling, there's a much more effective way to do that. You can stand at this point and use your lances with a range of 8 or more. All of them will hit the Guardian too, and you can use them in BM2 as well. Actually, an interesting thing that happens while using BM2 is that Glacial Trap with a range of 6 can also hit the guard, but only if you use it together with a lance skill. The same goes for Elemental Festival too, and to be honest, I have no idea why it works that way, but it works. Unfortunately at N12 you can't do the same. There only lances with a range of 9 will work and your BM3's last fatal attack. It's much less effective, but still it might help. Now that you know this, you should also consider the fact that in this type of war, bases are occupied by the nation that delivers the last hit to the Guardian. I haven't managed to record any of those occasions, but I've stolen S6 from the enemies a couple of times this way. They were inside the base and I took the last hit on the guard by hitting it through the gate, and my nation captured it. It also happened the other way around a few times, caused by archers. Of course, if you're already inside the base, you can also hit the gate with lances or BMT fatal skills for a bit of extra score. I also mentioned meteorite and glacial trap. While you're inside center, you can also hit the gate and the guard with those skills. Again, this might seem like nothing, but every little bit counts. Of course, BM3 fatal skills are useful in there. As far as I know, that only works if center is still neutral though. The eastern and western bases can be used for similar purposes too. With lances and BMT fatals, you can once again hit 2 targets. It's pretty amazing how many things you can use lances for, isn't it? Well, the next tip might be obvious enough. You're a wizard with the lowest defense among all classes, but you've got your range. So why would you let them hit you? Whenever enemies are trying to break through a gate, just give them a good pounding and they'll think twice about it. This is an awesome way to gain tons of score while also helping your nation a lot. And killing enemies brings us to the next tip. The best way to gain points, if you're strong enough for it, is to kill your opponents. By dealing damage to other players, you gain multiple times the points you'd gain by hitting objects. And since we're talking about MC, anyone you kill will drop half of the coins they are carrying, plus 1 more. Of course, you can gain coins by killing neutral monsters too. Keep in mind that depositing the coins you carry gives you 4 points for each coin, and your nation gets some score as well for doing that. The process takes pretty long, so you should think twice about doing that if you've only got a couple of coins. And last but not least, being a wizard, you have the fastest movement skills. You should know when to retreat. There's no shame in running away from your enemies if they obviously have the upper hand. This way you can save your coins, get more points, and even earn more score for your nation if you deposit them. Energy field should be used as a last resort if you're about to die and need just 4 more seconds to escape. Or the other way around, if you're just a few seconds away from killing someone and he's trying to flee. If you are inevitably facing an opponent who's much stronger than you, the following combo can help you. Multiple Cannon, Glacial Trap, Acid Trap and Extreme Dual Cannon. All of those skills have damage over time effect, which has the beneficial ability of dealing a set amount of damage regardless of the target's defense. This can also come in handy against force shielders with Art of Defense active. Well, I believe I've told you about everything I make use of during those wars. I hope you'll also benefit from these tips. See you next time and thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please consider sharing it or subscribing to my channel. Ahoy!